Have you ever felt like life was pushing you into a storm with no way out? The world grows louder, the pressure builds higher, and yet you are expected to stand strong. Imagine walking through chaos, but instead of being crushed, you rise taller, unshaken. This is the ancient wisdom of the Stoics. They believe that within every obstacle hides a hidden gift, the power to shape you. Just like fire-hardened steel, challenges forge the mind. In this video, we will explore principles that Roman emperors and philosophers used to remain unbreakable even in war, betrayal, and loss. And today, these timeless lessons can help you face modern stress, anxiety, and doubt with courage. Ask yourself, are you ready to transform struggle into strength? If yes, then step into the fire with me. You wake up, scroll through endless news and social feeds, and already feel drained. At work, stress piles up. At home, silence feels heavy. You want peace, but instead, your thoughts race, comparing, envying, fearing. You chase comfort, yet feel exhausted. You avoid pain, yet suffer daily. This is the modern paradox. We have more convenience than ever, but less inner strength. The Stoics saw this weakness centuries ago, warning us that comfort breeds fragility while struggle builds resilience. You are not broken for feeling overwhelmed. You are human. But what if you had a set of tools to meet life's storms with calmness instead of collapse? What if you could train your mind like a warrior trains his body? That is exactly what Stoicism offers, mental armor for the battles of today. 2,000 years ago, in the midst of wars, plagues, and political chaos, men like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus wrote words that outlived empires. They did not promise happiness without hardship. Instead, they revealed how to face hardship with dignity. Marcus reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Seneca practiced sleeping on the floor to prepare his spirit for loss. Epictetus, once a slave, taught freedom not as a gift of fortune, but as mastery of one's own mind. Stoicism is not philosophy for dusty bookshelves. It is a living discipline, a toolkit for ordinary people, like you and me, to face chaos with clarity and turn pain into purpose. Their wisdom is not ancient history. It is a survival manual for the modern soul. In this video, you will discover 7 Stoic principles, laws that are not abstract theories, but practical weapons. Each law is brutal in its honesty, yet liberating in its simplicity. They will teach you to embrace discomfort like a teacher, to stop being a slave to your emotions, to release the illusion of fairness, to focus only on what you can control, to train your willpower through hardship, to detach from outcomes and love the process, and to live with urgency by remembering death. By the end, you will not just understand Stoicism, you will feel it in your bones. You will carry with you a mindset that cannot be bought, shaken, or broken. This is not just a lesson, it is a transformation. If you are ready to become mentally unbreakable, then let us begin the journey together. The first Stoic principle is simple yet brutal: embrace discomfort. We are raised to avoid pain, but the Stoics flipped the lesson, run toward it with open eyes. Think of your greatest growth. Did it come when life was easy, or when you were pushed to your edge? Marcus Aurelius ruled during wars, plagues, and betrayal, yet he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every obstacle is a forge shaping your will. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the mirror that reveals your true strength. When you step into difficulty willingly, you stop fearing it. That is the beginning of freedom. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." These words are not poetic decoration. They are a law of life. Every rejection is a teacher of resilience. Every delay is a test of patience. Every hardship is a chisel carving the statue of your character. To the Stoics, pain was not punishment, it was preparation. It was the training ground for strength. This principle reminds us, your obstacles are not here to stop you. They are here to shape you. Do not curse the weight you carry. Thank it for making you stronger. Seneca, one of Rome's greatest Stoics, practiced voluntary hardship. He would sleep on the floor, eat coarse bread, and wear rough clothes. Not because he hated comfort, but because he wanted to train his soul to endure loss without fear. He asked himself, "Is this the condition I feared?" By facing discomfort on purpose, he became unbreakable when real tragedy struck. Imagine this today: fasting for a day, taking a cold shower, walking without your usual luxuries. At first, it feels harsh, but soon, you realize you are free. No convenience owns you. No comfort weakens you. This is the hidden power of discomfort. It breaks the chains of dependency and reveals that you need far less than you think to live with strength. In our world, comfort is everywhere: instant food, constant entertainment, endless distractions. Yet comfort breeds fragility. That is why you feel anxious when Wi-Fi fails, angry when traffic stalls, exhausted when work piles up. The Stoic remedy? Train yourself through small discomforts. Take the cold shower. Have the hard conversation. Sit in silence without your phone. Go to the gym when tired. Each act is a sparring match with life itself. Discomfort bruises you, but it also builds you. Modern warriors are not forged in battlefields, but in daily choices, choosing the hard path when the easy one tempts. Remember, comfort slowly kills, but discomfort strengthens. Today, choose one small hardship and step willingly into it. That is how you become unstoppable. The second Stoic principle is this: stop being owned by your emotions. Think about how often your day is hijacked. Someone insults you, and your mood collapses. A plan changes, and frustration takes over. We believe emotions are commands, but the Stoics taught that they are only signals. You are not weak for feeling anger or sadness. You are only weak when you let them rule you. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that true freedom is mastery over your inner state. The child reacts with tantrums. The Stoic pauses, observes, and responds with intention. Emotional strength does not mean you feel nothing. It means you feel deeply, yet remain steady like a mountain. And in a world full of chaos, that steadiness becomes magnetic, rare, and unshakable. Epictetus said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." They can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by them. Think about that. Every time you lose control, you hand your peace to someone else. The driver who cuts you off, the stranger who mocks you online, suddenly, they control your mind. Marcus Aurelius echoed this truth. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The Stoics remind us, power is not about dominance over others, but sovereignty over yourself. This is the empire that cannot be conquered. Imagine Epictetus, once beaten by his master, left crippled for life. Yet he refused to be broken. He realized that while others could injure his body, they could not touch his will unless he allowed it. That insight turned a slave into a philosopher whose words echo through centuries. Now imagine a modern parallel: a young woman facing betrayal in her career. She feels the sting but refuses to be consumed by rage. Instead, she channels it into discipline, building skills so sharp that no injustice can stop her. Both stories remind us, pain is real, but suffering is optional. The moment you decide not to hand your peace away, you reclaim your throne. Today, emotional mastery is a superpower. Social media is designed to provoke. News thrives on outrage. Workplaces overflow with stress. If you live as a puppet to emotions, you are endlessly pulled by strings you cannot see. The Stoic practice is this: pause, breathe, ask, is this emotion useful right now? If yes, act with clarity. If no, let it pass like clouds across the sky. You can feel anger without attacking. You can feel fear without retreating. You can feel sadness without collapsing. That is strength. The more you practice this, the more others will see you as unshakable, calm, and trustworthy. In a world of emotional chaos, the person who stays steady does not just survive, they lead. The third Stoic principle is this: stop expecting fairness. One of the fastest ways to suffer is to believe life owes you balance. You work hard, yet someone less deserving is rewarded. You love deeply, yet are betrayed. You do the right thing, yet still face punishment. We cry out, "This isn't fair." But the Stoics knew that fairness is not a law of the universe. It is only a wish of the human heart. Marcus Aurelius himself, Emperor of Rome, saw injustice daily. Yet instead of despair, he grounded himself in strength, not fairness. To expect life to be fair is to demand the ocean be calm forever. The Stoic does not beg the storm to stop. They learn to sail. Seneca once wrote, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." He did not mean this as despair, but as realism. Life is unpredictable. Good people will suffer, and evil people may rise. Marcus Aurelius echoed, "You can commit injustice by doing nothing." Fairness, then, is fragile, not promised. The Stoics remind us that if we cling to fairness, we grow bitter. But if we accept reality, we grow strong. The wise warrior does not waste energy demanding the world be fair. He invests energy in preparing himself to meet the world as it is. This is the difference between resentment and resilience. Picture Rome. A soldier gives his life in loyalty, yet corruption rewards another. Marcus Aurelius, though emperor, could not erase all injustice from the empire. Instead, he reminded himself that injustice is not surprising. It is part of life. Now picture a modern scene. A man works tirelessly for a promotion, but it is given to someone else. He can sink into bitterness, or he can choose the Stoic path, sharpen his skills, maintain dignity, and keep moving. The storm may rage, but the sailor does not waste time cursing waves. He grips the helm. The lesson is clear. Injustice may wound you, but how you respond defines you. The world may not be fair, but your character can remain unshaken. Today, the myth of fairness is everywhere. Social media shows curated lives, and we ask, why not me? Workplaces reward politics over effort, and we burn with rage. But the Stoic answer is radical responsibility, not because everything is your fault, but because it is always your move. You cannot control whether life is fair, but you can control whether you grow. Build skills so sharp they cannot be ignored. Love without the need for return. When betrayed, walk forward with dignity. To live waiting for fairness is to live in chains. To live with strength despite unfairness is true freedom. Remember, fairness is not promised, but resilience is always available. And when you act from this truth, you become unshakable. The fourth Stoic principle is to focus only on what you can control and let go of the rest. Anxiety, frustration, and anger are born when we grasp at things beyond our reach. Other people's opinions, uncertain futures, or random chance. The Stoics cut through this illusion. Your true power lies in your thoughts, your actions, and your responses. That is it. Everything else is wind and waves outside your command. The wise sailor does not scream at the storm. He steadies his ship. In the same way, the wise Stoic does not waste energy fighting the uncontrollable. He directs all strength into the one empire he truly rules, himself. Freedom begins where control ends. Epictetus wrote, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." Marcus Aurelius added, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These lines reveal a brutal yet liberating truth. Most of what you worry about is not yours to command. You cannot control the weather, but you can control how you dress. You cannot control whether others respect you, but you can control whether you act with respect. You cannot control the economy, but you can control your discipline. The Stoics remind us, power is small, but absolute. When you focus only on this circle, your life shifts from chaos to clarity. Imagine a Stoic sailor on a raging sea. He does not waste his breath demanding calmer winds. Instead, he grabs the wheel, trims the sails, and navigates forward. In modern times, think of an athlete. She cannot control her opponent, the referees, or the crowd, but she can control her training, her mindset, her focus. One wins mastery not by ruling the world, but by ruling the self. Epictetus lived as a slave, powerless over his conditions, yet he found freedom by mastering his will. His life was proof that even in chains, a man can be freer than kings if he governs his own mind. Control is not about power over others. It is sovereignty over yourself. Today, most of our stress comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. We scroll social media, anxious about others' lives. We obsess over outcomes, fearing futures that may never arrive. The Stoic practice is simple. Every time you feel overwhelmed, ask, is this within my control? If yes, act with courage. If no, let it go. This single habit transforms your life. You stop wasting energy on storms you cannot calm and begin investing in the one ship you can steer, yourself. Focus on learning, discipline, and action. Let go of envy, noise, and chance. People will notice your calm when others panic. They will see your clarity when others complain. And in that steadiness, you will find true strength. The fifth Stoic principle is to practice voluntary hardship. The world today worships comfort, but comfort breeds fragility. The Stoics did not wait for life to strike. They struck first. By choosing discomfort on purpose, they trained their minds to endure what others feared. Seneca advised, set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, is this the condition I feared? The lesson is clear. If you practice hardship voluntarily, you will never be broken by hardship imposed. True strength is not forged in luxury, but in struggle chosen with intention. Seneca wrote, is this the condition I feared? He would sleep on the floor, eat coarse bread, and wear rough garments to test his spirit. His goal was not punishment, but preparation. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he too reminded himself to live simply, without attachment to luxury. Their message echoes through time. Comfort is fleeting, but strength endures. The practice of voluntary hardship is a rehearsal for the inevitable storms of life. By embracing small trials, you disarm the fear of great ones. The question is not whether hardship will come, it is whether you will be ready when it does. Picture a young Roman senator who lives in luxury, silks, feasts, and comfort. Then suddenly, war and famine strike, and he collapses under fear. Contrast him with Seneca, who practiced living with less. When stripped of wealth, he was calm because he had rehearsed loss. Now imagine today, a young professional who skips meals for the first time due to crisis feels panic. But another who has practiced fasting for discipline knows hunger is not fatal. One breaks, the other endures. The lesson is timeless. When you embrace small chosen hardships, you build an armor of resilience that no sudden storm can pierce. In modern life, hardship may not be war or famine, but comfort still weakens us. We panic when Wi-Fi fails. We grow restless without entertainment. We complain when faced with inconvenience. The Stoic solution is training. Fast for a day, take a cold shower, say no to luxuries you can afford, walk instead of drive, embrace silence instead of noise. These practices remind you, you are stronger than your cravings, freer than your dependencies. Voluntary hardship is not self-punishment, it is self-liberation. When real struggles come, and they always do, you will not break, because you have already chosen to be tempered by fire. The warrior who trains in peace cannot be broken in war. The sixth Stoic principle is to detach from outcomes and fall in love with the process. We are taught to obsess over results, winning the job, earning the praise, reaching the goal. But the Stoics remind us, the outcome is never fully yours. Fortune can shift in an instant. What is yours is the effort, the discipline, the action in this moment. Freedom is found not in controlling results, but in mastering your craft. When you love the process, you cannot lose, because success is not measured by applause, but by the integrity of showing up fully. The path itself becomes the prize. Epictetus wrote, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius echoed, never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. These lines strike like thunder. They warn us that when we cling to outcomes, we chain ourselves to chance. But when we anchor in the present effort, we gain unshakable freedom. The Stoics did not reject goals. They simply refused to let goals own them. Their peace was found not in victory, but in discipline. Imagine a sculptor carving marble. If he obsesses only over applause, he grows impatient, cuts corners, and ruins the work. But if he loves the act of carving, the rhythm of the chisel, the discipline of shaping stone, then every stroke is victory. The Stoics lived like sculptors of the soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote daily, not to impress, but to refine his mind. In modern life, think of an athlete. If she trains only to win medals, failure crushes her. But if she trains for mastery, every practice becomes triumph. The outcome may come or go, but the process is always yours. This is the Stoic secret. Love the work, and you are already free. In today's world, we are slaves to outcomes, likes, promotions, numbers, praise. We chase external validation and collapse when it does not arrive. The Stoic path breaks this cycle. Focus on your actions, not their reception. Try not to go viral, but to sharpen your mind. Work not to impress, but to strengthen your craft. Train not to win, but to honor your discipline. Ironically, when you let go of results, you often achieve more, because you are no longer desperate, only dedicated. Build your identity not on success, but on effort. Then no outcome can enslave you, because your worth is already anchored. Love the process, and the process will love you back. The seventh Stoic principle is to remember death, Memento Mori. At first, it sounds grim, but for the Stoics, it was not a meditation on despair, but on urgency. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. To live as if tomorrow is guaranteed is the greatest illusion. Every wasted hour is a piece of life lost forever. When you remember death, you stop delaying your dreams, stop tolerating mediocrity, and stop wasting your soul on trivialities. Awareness of death is not fear, it is fuel. It is the fire that pushes you to live deeply now. Seneca warned, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. These words strike at the heart of modern distraction. Life is not too short, it is simply squandered. We scroll, argue, compare, and delay, imagining there will always be more time. But time is the only resource we cannot replace. Marcus Aurelius urged, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. The Stoics did not dwell on death to be morbid. They did it to sharpen life into something urgent, intentional, and full of meaning. Picture Marcus Aurelius in his tent, exhausted by war, riding late into the night. He reminds himself, you could leave life right now. This was not despair, it was discipline. By remembering his mortality, he was driven to act with justice, to love with sincerity, to lead with courage. Now imagine a modern story. A man postpones his dream project for years, waiting for someday. Then a sudden illness reminds him that life is fragile. In that moment, he awakens, begins, and lives with urgency. Memento Mori is not about fearing death. It is about fearing a wasted life. The Stoics tell us, let death be the compass that points you to what matters most. Today, most people live as if time is infinite. They delay forgiveness, delay their passions, delay living fully. Memento Mori shatters this illusion. You may not control how long you live, but you do control how deeply you live. Ask yourself, if today were my last, would I be proud of how I spent it? Use this awareness to strip away distractions. Speak the truth. Start the project. Say, I love you. Take the risk. The Stoics remind us, the ultimate failure is not death. It is living without purpose. When you remember death daily, you begin to live urgently, intentionally, and fully. That urgency transforms ordinary days into extraordinary lives. We have walked together through 7 Stoic principles, embraced discomfort, master emotions, release fairness, focus on control, train through hardship, detach from outcomes, and remember death. These are not abstract ideas. They are weapons forged in fire, tested in chaos, and still alive today. The Stoics never promised an easy life. They promised an unshakable soul. Each principle is a step toward that strength. Together, they form a shield against fear, doubt, and despair. You now hold the same tools that once guided emperors, warriors, and philosophers through storms. The choice is yours. Carry them, or remain unarmed in the battles of life. You are stronger than you believe. Every obstacle can forge your courage. Every failure can carve your wisdom. Every moment of discipline can sharpen your will. The Stoics teach us that strength is not about controlling the world. It is about mastering yourself. When you stop running from pain, when you stop being ruled by emotions, when you stop wasting time waiting for fairness, you become rare, powerful, unstoppable. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for permission. The time to rise is now. Let your life be proof that storms cannot break the soul that chooses strength. Now it is your turn. Choose one principle from today and practice it in the next 24 hours. Take a cold shower to embrace discomfort. Pause before reacting to test your emotional strength. Spend a day fasting to build willpower. Or write down how you would live if today were your last. Do not try to master all 7 at once. Begin with one, live it fully, and let it transform you. Growth comes not from hearing wisdom, but from living it. The Stoics did not just speak, they practiced. And now it is time for you to do the same. Your life is your training ground. The storms of life will not stop, but you do not need them to. You only need to become the kind of soul that stands unshaken in the chaos. That is the gift of Stoicism, a philosophy not for books, but for battle. A wisdom not for yesterday, but for today. Carry these laws, practice them daily, and you will discover a strength that no one can take from you. This is Stoic Miracles. And remember, do not just survive, rise. Do not just endure, become unbreakable.